Yesterday, in one of the great performances in recent memory in NBA playoffs history, Steph Curry on the road against the Sacramento Kings drops 50, and as the Warriors do, they win the third quarter, they win the fourth quarter, and they advance to take on the Lakers in the conference semifinals. Met with that is the sudden proclamation by many, including colleagues at Fox, respected colleagues at Fox, who say crazy things that we all know are not true to those of us who lived through previous eras. The statement? Steph Curry is the best point guard of all time. Can I quickly dismantle that one? First of all, Magic Johnson's the greatest point guard of all time. Played 12 seasons in the NBA. He went to 9 NBA finals. He led the world in assists, I think, 5 times. He was also a 5-time NBA champion. And to anyone who wants to point out, well, Magic didn't shoot the ball, he's not the shooter of Steph Curry. He's a point guard. If you wanted him to play in this era, okay, if you wanted him to play in this era, he'd probably be LeBron James. Or, of course he would have shot the ball better. Guys, it was a skill that's demanded upon a young player at a younger age. Steph Curry told me once, and it was a brilliant statement. I mean, the thing about guys in even my dad's generation or Larry Bird or Magic Johnson or whatever is I've never played on a court that didn't have a three-point line. They played most of their lives with no three-point line until they got to the pros, and it wasn't embraced in the NBA. It's a different game. So all you can take is the dominance of the game at that stage. But if we want to compare this era, Steph Curry is, first of all, he's a hybrid guard or a combo guard or a scoring guard, and he's great. He's in any discussions of the greatest perimeter scorers in the history of the sport. I would say that as a scorer, Kevin Durant is better. Okay? He's a better pure scorer, but he's not the passer of Steph. Maybe doesn't have the range of Steph. And again, we also give extra credit to Steph because he's little, whereas with Kevin Durant, we're like, well, he's not little. But he's a better passer, and because he brings the ball up the court more, there's the feeling that he's a point guard. So if Steph Curry, but here's the argument. Is Steph Curry a point guard? I would say no, because he's as or more dangerous without the basketball as he is with the basketball. But if you want to say Steph Curry's a point guard, that's fine. I would also say that, LeBron James would similarly be called a point guard if he creates shots, he dominates the ball, he brings it up the court, he's the guy. When they won an NBA championship with the Lakers, he was their point guard. Now, with the Heat, technically they had Mario Chalmers, but everything ran through LeBron. With the Cavs, Kyrie plays off the ball as much as on the ball. There's some very similar aspects. So if we say Steph's a point guard, we also should say LeBron's a point guard. And if LeBron's a point guard, he's had a better career than Steph Curry. So even if we eliminated Magic Johnson because, he played in a different era, so we don't respect it, whatever you want to say about it, that's fine. But if you eliminate Magic Johnson, which you shouldn't because he's the greatest point guard of all time, then you also have to say that LeBron James is a point guard, and there isn't anyone who would argue that Steph Curry has had as good a career as LeBron James. Would they? So what is this discussion? We do stupid things, but the stupidest thing the media does is we watch one game and we go crazy. Like, we've done the same thing anti-Steph when he hasn't made the big shot at the end of the game. Or he hasn't played well. Oh, Steph's got to play better in the finals. Yeah, no duh. There's yet to be a guy that plays great in every NBA Finals game. Here's Klay Thompson talking about Steph.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's the best. I mean, especially when you have an off night yourself or the team, no one really shot it particularly well except for Steph. And there's a reason he's a 2-time MVP, a Finals MVP, is because he pushes us over the top in moments like this. And when he's in the zone like that, you try to just get him in his spots, get him the ball, get out the way. Gosh, what an incredible performance. This is a Game 7 I'll forever remember as the Steph Curry game, and he's just a joy to watch and play with. I mean, I really, truly enjoyed just, like I said, sharing the backcourt with him.
Here's Mike Brown summing up Steph Curry's performance.
Steph was he was elite. He did what he was supposed to do. He put these guys on his back, and he said, we're not losing tonight, and I'm going to make sure that that happens. So you give Steph a ton of credit for doing exactly what he was supposed to do. Heck of a performance by him.
The other part to it is, and it's interesting, I was coaching my son in AAU games yesterday morning. And we played 2 games, and then we watched the end of the Knicks game, and the Warriors game was about to start, and we played our championship game. We lost by 2, and we get in the car, and it's like the Kings are up a couple points to start the game. And I said, and all the boys were betting, I don't know, $5-10 on different teams in different series. And I said, hey, dude, you could have taken a lot of money off your buddies. He's like, how? I said, you should have taken the Warriors. And I think they were losing at the time. It was in the first half. It's like, Dad, the Kings are going to win. And I said, I feel like the old man now, but I'm going to tell you something which is time-tested, and it's completely true. Game 7s are different, right? Playoffs are different than regular season. Regular season is different than preseason, and Game 7s are different than the playoffs and the regular season than anything else. And you have to have lost this game in order to win this game. And generally, it's not always the case because there is a point in which you age out. There is always the moment where the mantle is passed. But you have to have done it before in order to actually do it the first time. And he goes, Dad, that doesn't make sense. I said, okay. And we watched the game. And then the game was over, and he goes, yeah, that makes complete sense now. You have to feel the pain before you taste the champagne. The Grizzlies learned they poked the wrong bear. And the Kings, they weren't ready for that. Just like Steph said. And if you haven't done it before, it's hard to actually do it and complete the task. Steph Curry is incredible. Of course, I'm the guy who was on SportsCenter at the time and didn't think he was going to be a star as a pro. You know who else didn't think he was going to be a star as a pro? The Golden State Warriors. When they traded for Andrew Bogut, they offered up the Bucks, Monte Ellis or Steph Curry, and the Bucks chose Monte Ellis. So wait. So not only did the Bucks make the wrong decision, but the Warriors, even offering him potentially as in a trade, were making the wrong decision. And this is after he played 2 years in the NBA. And the reason they needed Andrew Bogut, by the way, is because Bogut's a great passer. He had to surround a guy, or either of them, as great scorers with somebody else who could run the team or who could facilitate where they could play without the basketball. A genius trade which changed, and of course, getting rid of Mark Jackson, who tried to make Steph into a point guard, a scoring point guard. That didn't work either. It had a ceiling. This is kind of limitless, letting him roam free, playing with and without the basketball and running all over the place, and they play off of that. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm the guy. Didn't think he was going to be a great pro. Thought if you read my work, you can go back and Google. I thought he'd be like a Jeff Hornacek type. I was wrong, but I'm not wrong on this. Steph Curry's an unbelievable player. But please stop with the greatest point guard of all time. Hey, Magic Johnson's the greatest point guard of all time. He thoroughly and completely dominated and owned the NBA along with Larry Bird for a complete decade. He played 12 years. He made it 9 NBA finals. He won 5 championships, and he led the league in assists. I think it was 4, maybe 5 times. He's incredible. And it's not just about assists. He could score. He could do whatever it took to help his team win the game, and he made everybody else around him better. That's what great point guards do. Steph is an incredible shooter scorer. In any conversation, is the greatest shooter scorer in the history of the sport. He has changed the sport. So did Magic. Hey, there weren't 6'9" point guards ever before Magic. Now there were. Then there became a run on them in the NBA where everybody wanted a big point guard. Same thing has happened where everybody wants a Steph Curry. Trae Young is a not as good version of a Steph Curry. And part of it is the pieces in place aren't as good or aren't as well put together as the Warriors. Some of that's luck. But the point is that when you say things like that, it just makes you cringe, because if you want to say Steph's a point guard, that's fine. Then we got to say LeBron's a point guard, and everybody knows LeBron has had a better career than Steph, even if he's not the shooter-scorer of Steph. And oh yeah, by the way, as much as he's not the same shooter, last time I checked, LeBron James is actually the all-time scoring leader in NBA history, and I don't think scoring is the best thing he does.